Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. It's going to be a movie Monday. Going to talk about two movies that I saw over the weekend. One really good one and one that was meh. So we're going to talk about both. Before we get started, I hope you enjoyed the newsletter that went out last night. Had a lot of good stuff in it. And if you're not getting that newsletter, go to enjoylifesafely.com and get signed up. A lot of good stuff coming at you every weekend. So get on that newsletter list. While you're at enjoylifesafely.com, check out all the other stuff available there for you. Now let's talk about some movies. I had high expectations for Toy Story 5, enjoying the first four, and knowing what they do with that franchise, that they continue to try to have high expectations for any continued films. And they did not disappoint. I really enjoyed Toy Story 5. Very well done. I mean, Disney and Pixar and the collaboration between the two, they put out quality movies, and this was no exception. The story was really relevant. If you're familiar with the Toy Stories, it's about the toys. But what about when toys start to get replaced by screens, phones, tablets, electronic devices? And rather than be creative and use your imagination with toys, you just zone out on the screen. That's sort of the theme of this movie and what happens and goes on with that. It also touched on the ability to be cruel through screens and electronic communication, which can be as hurtful as something in person. So I enjoyed how they wove technology into the theme of the movie with the older toys, and just enjoyed the story. So it was very well done, and I highly recommend it, especially if you have kids and you want a fun family movie, because it definitely was. And there were some after credit scenes along with the Taylor Swift song that she created for this movie. The first person to write any music for Toy Story movies other than Randy Newman. So, that was sort of cool that they asked her to do that song. I know she felt very honored to be part of the franchise now. But it was very good, and it did have some after, credit scenes. So, me, I stay and watch the end. I was the only one in the theater when the Pixar lamp went out, because at the end they had the Disney first and then the Pixar. So the very end was when the Pixar lamp went out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've never stayed to the end of a Pixar movie. But highly recommended, Toy Story 5. The other movie I went to this weekend, because it fit with my schedule and I just wanted to get out of the house, Scary Movie. And this is the 6th Scary Movie. And it's the first one I've seen. I did not see the first 5. They're not really movies that I care about that much. The reason I went is I wanted out of the house. It was at the proper time. It was a good length. I went and checked it out because you don't have that movie pass. It doesn't really matter. I didn't have high expectations, and so I wasn't disappointed because it was what you expect. It's a spoof of horror movies, definitely not a family movie, very crude sexual humor, some nudity, a little bit of blood. There were a lot of people being killed, but it wasn't as graphic as some horror movies because this was more of a comedy. But definitely crude and vulgar language and jokes and so forth, which I'm not against. I'm just letting you know that if you don't like that kind of crude and vulgar stuff, don't go to this movie, because it starts out crude and vulgar at the very beginning and stays that way all the way to the end. Was it funny? Yeah, sort of, in a couple places. I didn't think it was near as funny as Breadwinner, which really had me laughing. So it's really not my type of movie. I'm not a huge horror movie fan. And this is the first out of 6 of these movies that I saw. From my understanding, they brought back some of the originals from the first one in this movie, sort of like they have done with other horror movies that have been a long franchise, bringing back some of the originals to appear in the later sequels when they were absent from the middle. I guess that's what they did with this one too, from what I read a little bit, and some of the jokes they made. But I haven't seen the other 5, so I don't know. If you like this kind of movie, silly, vulgar, slapstick type of humor, it's something to watch, I guess. It was, like I said, it was something for me to get out of the house, but definitely did not like it as much as I enjoyed Toy Story. The Toy Story 5, highly recommend. Great movie, great family film. Scary Movie 6, check it out if you want to. That's what I have to say about the 2 movies I went to this weekend. I want to say good morning to Thad. Thad's here and said good morning. Thank you for being here, Thad. Appreciate that. Dixon's here and said Tom Hanks is making a killing with this franchise. Tim Allen, too. Yes, they are. And they do a great job. I mean, Hanks and Allen, I like them both. I've liked just about everything they've done. And they've done a great job with this franchise. And it's more than just the movie franchise. If you go to Disney World down in Florida and you go to the Hollywood Studios park, they have a whole Toy Story land. And, it's pretty cool. They got the rides and the different attractions and the restaurants and all sorts of stuff. A whole land built on that. If you go to different parades and stuff, they have those characters. So, I mean, this franchise has grown huge beyond just the movies. And, it's because it was well done. It's a great franchise, great family entertainment with good stories, good storytelling, good messages. So, that's what we want out of movies. And so they deserve all the success that they have acquired. So that's my thoughts on the movies today. My cup says, think of the happiest things. Another Disney movie there, Peter Pan on the cup. So think of the happiest things and make it a magnificent Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.